Port, sir, it's port.
Depending on where the hell this thing edited and started. Welcome to whatever this podcast is. Later.
Well, later.
Skater.
What should our vague topic be that we'll stick to?
I don't know. Yeah, we stick to it like that. Like Mel Gibson. By the end of it, we're talking about Chris Brown and Cirque du Soleil.
Hey, that's a good one.
Cirque du Soleil.
No, Mel Gibson.
I was about to say, I love Mel Gibson.
Who doesn't like Mel Gibson?
I just stared at my poster and I'm like, yeah. Because I do get asked about that.
I have that saved in my phone. I have the Mel Gibson from when he was drunk outside the Smart Color. Just like, after he's busy making fun of Jews and stuff.
Oh my god.
You remember when he left that angry voicemail to his Asian girlfriend saying that he hoped she got raped by a bunch of black guys? Oh, she was Asian.
Whatever she was, I do remember that, yeah.
But oh my god, man. and people are defending Hulk Hogan. And they're using Mel Gibson as an excuse. I'm like, oh, well, you got the right sentiment. It makes more sense than comparing him to Obama, which did happen.
Are you serious?
Yeah, it's... Whoever runs... I said this on Freaking Nature Radio. Whoever worked for TNA should be banned permanently from using Twitter. It's like, once you work TNA Wrestling, you don't know how to Twitter, bruh.
What did we do before Twitter was a thing? How else can you ruin someone's life in 140 characters or less?
Sex tapes did the job.
Sex tapes did the... I remember sex tapes doing the job. Like, they did the job.
They did the job.
And angry voicemails, I guess.
I was like...
a la Mel Gibson
I'm
or
still
Alec
trying
Baldwin.
to figure out Twitter. Like, every once in a while I want it. Like, every once in a while.
You know, I love Twitter, but I hate Twitter.
It
is so hard to keep context and get your message across.
Yeah.
Because people will only see them. If you put a 9-point message out there, and you want to get your well-thought opinion out there, and it takes 9 messages, they will only read number 6 because you used the word that offended somebody.
I'm only going to focus on this
That's
one.
what your Facebook status post is all
Welcome
about.
to being a politician.
Oh my god.
Seriously.
I couldn't hack it, man. Again, I pretty much, it's like, oh, he's running for Prime Minister, he's doing well for himself. But earlier today, a bit of a scandal when Canadian Prime Minister candidate Jim Moreland told somebody that he was a dick-riding fanboy fucktard.
I don't know how...
I don't know about you, ladies and gentlemen, but you cannot delete the internet.
Yeah.
Back in 2015, a dick-riding fucktard.
Oh,
Dude,
God.
it's kind of like when they examine like their like the service record of former U.S. politicians.
Yeah.
And it's like, you once pushed a woman off a boat in 1963.
But it doesn't say that she's part of, like, the Khmer Rouge or something, you know?
Yeah.
Like,
You know, who cares if you want to, like,
She
fix
did pull
healthcare?
a gun on the guy, but still,
yeah.
don't use women.
I just don't. That's the problem with the internet.
Don't do drugs, kids.
I love the internet, but there's a lot of shitty stuff on the internet.
Oh, God. I'm loving this whole Donald Trump disaster that's going on.
So, is that still going well for him?
He is the leading GOP candidate.
How the fuck did that happen?
he's very charismatic, Dan.
He is the least charismatic person I've ever met.
That is
He loves
how
those Mexicans.
desperate. That is how desperate the flag wavers are, and I don't mean the American flag, the My Team waving flag people are.
The Tea Party
To
like,
get the left out. Is there? Oh my God, this guy. That just an hour. Just describe Donald Trump. Oh my God, this guy.
we would need a lot longer of a podcast.
At one point, 15 years ago, Donald Trump was in favor of a Canada-style healthcare program. Now, all of a sudden, has a problem with Obamacare.
Well, because
it was Obama who came up with
Yeah,
it.
'cause
If
he
it
didn't
was
think of it.
George W. Bush who would come up with it, and let's face it, he never would have.
Yeah,
but if
never.
he had, this would be the greatest thing Trump's ever seen. And any left-winger that tried to get in would be destroying all the great work Bush had done.
But
How?
could you imagine the porns based off of that?
Oh,
Bush
Jesus.
care.
Did you ever see?
Bush care.
Did you ever
That's a
see?
good
Because
point.
I love, like, the porn parody industry just blew up in 2011.
With
Oh,
Sarah Palin.
But
man.
yeah,
I
did
love
you
it.
see Obama is nailing Palin?
No.
There, that exists out there, man. They got the perfect actors
They had
for
him
it.
riding a
Google.
horse.
They had a what?
They got him in armor riding a horse. A guy that looks like Obama. It didn't really look like Obama, but the person they got to play Palin nailed it.
Well, that was that older chick.
The one that just retired.
Yeah, that she probably has like $1 billion right now.
Well, women do get paid a lot more important than guys do.
Wow, they also take quite a beating.
This chick actually does look like
No, they totally got her. They totally got her like right down.
Oh yeah, they even got the "you betcha." How does
You
the
betcha.
governor of Alaska nail a Wisconsin accent? How does that
I
work?
don't know. Americans are weird. that's what I've come
I
to
do
conclude.
remember how enjoyable the gag was on Saturday Night Live, where people couldn't tell the difference between Sarah Palin and Tina Fey. To the point where they actually intentionally swapped the two.
Yeah, I remember that. She nailed it so well that like the Fox network was putting up like screen grabs
Oh
of
god,
Tina
yeah.
Fey.
The Fox network is incredible. I mean, don't forget the gay pride thing that happened, in June? Where somebody had made a parody ISIS flag with a bunch of vibrators and butt plugs.
So good. So, ISIS flag shows up at gay pride rally. I'm looking at it, I'm like, that looks like a butt plug.
That is definitely
That is not ISIS.
Oh man.
Well, it's like, let's have a drink, man, because we live in a world now where Cosby's a rapist, Hogan's a racist, everything's gone to shit.
And everybody loves Donald Trump.
This is strange.
The man.
I know.
The man's been bankrupt 3 times, and that was a business strategy. I don't understand how they keep giving this dude money.
I can explain that, actually.
Please.
Okay, so, for example, when he was making the Taj Mahal, not the Indian Taj Mahal,
Yeah.
but the hotel,
Yeah.
Vegas Taj Mahal.
he got people to throw money in, but it was specifically declared in the contract that if the building was not made by whatever time, then they would forfeit their money.
That's
What he
easy.
did was forfeited his money, took their money, made more money off of that by declaring
He pulled the
bankruptcy.
producers.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like,
Hang
I'm
on
just
for
thinking
you.
Mel Brooks.
A
threw
Mel
another-
Brooks producers. He
Yeah.
wasn't kidding with that movie, by the way. If you have a flop, you can make more money with it.
It's true.
And Trump does it
That's
perfectly.
what U-Bowl lasted so long until
It's-
Germany changed the loophole.
That's right, because they gave you 50%, right?
It was hundreds.
Why am I not going to Germany?
Because they changed
Germany?
it, and you're not a citizen.
Fuck, I could get it. I could get my citizenship, no problem. Ich bin sprechen Deutsch.
There you go. That's exactly it's like right where I was going with
Ich
it.
bin ein Fisch. I'm not a fish.
Ich bin ein
I think that's what it means.
No, that means you are a fish.
Oh, I am a fish? Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. I'm cool with that.
As a purveyor of obscure German trance from the 90s,
I thought you
80s.
say obscure German porn.
No, I'm not a German.
Tell me
not
more
yet.
about these obscure German schmatties, you obscure.
Obscure. No, it's hard to find those songs because A, they're in German, and B, when they were released on like Napster, it all just was like German Trance 1,
Yeah.
German Trance 2. So trying to find that shit?
I'm
Yeah.
hoping the hell these are bubbles I'm seeing in my beer.
Yeah, they're bubbles. Don't
Okay,
worry.
because they look like poppy seeds.
But when was the last time you actually got to look inside a beer can? You don't
True.
know what's going on in there.
True. And with the shit I drink on Eats, you don't want it.
You don't want to know what's going on in there.
But I
Okay,
guess
last
you're
week
right, though.
the buffalo wing soda, you can very clearly see the little white guest special appearance floating in our bottle.
By the way, this is a shout out to Eats. Go watch that.
Thank you to the 7 people who do.
I think I'm one of those people.
Okay, so it's you,
And me.
Niall, Kellen's dad, you. There's one. Shout out to the one person who actually watches.
The one random person.
If you
I think it's
message
much more
Jim,
entertaining.
Jim will send you a heartfelt, handwritten thank you card.
No, I will not.
You have to pay postage though.
Yeah.
And for the
It
card.
says on my Patreon as an implied thank you and a virtual pat on the back.
Well,
It's like I
Jim,
won't say thank you, it's implied.
It's an
Jim will
implied.
virtually pat you on the back twice.
Oh yeah, 3 times for management.
Or a woman.
It's a Drew Carey joke, nobody ever gets it.
I never. No, I don't get that.
I didn't catch it.
There. Are you management? Yes. There.
Man, that show.
That show
was
has its
a
ups and
show.
downs.
I
That shit
remember
was
when
awesome,
they,
yeah.
in that show, they had a, they were, like, organizing a band or something, and they wanted a lead guitarist. So they had Dave
Joe Walsh!
Dave Mustaine shows up and says thrash, and he's like, yeah, you're not quite good enough. And then he just walks away. Like, that's hilarious.
I just love the fact that of all, like, he thought of a caffeinated beer before anybody else was really doing it.
Oh, what I would have given. Around 2005, I've never been able to find it again. I was dating a girl out of New Westminster, BC. And I'd fly to Vancouver every couple months and go and see her. And the hotel I was staying at one point, because one of my stays exceeded 7 days, they gave me a gift basket. Even though at the time, I was not yet legal in BC. I was legal in Alberta. But it had this, like, it was a really nice little gift basket with, like, chocolates and, snacks and stuff like that, peanuts. And it had a microbrew from that area, and I've never been able to find it again. But it was a coffee beer, but it tasted like a caramel bar.
Oh,
It was
wow.
heaven, man. And I can't find that thing for the life of me.
Do you remember what it was called? Because Midnight Sun has a good one. It's really powerful though. It's quite the stout.
All about them power beers.
Oh yeah. If you do some
I like
cream
my
in it-
beer like I like my music. Power ballad.
and that's how I like my women too.
Powerful women of power.
Like Ronda Rousey.
Oh god.
That was.
34
Did you watch
seconds.
that?
No, I wasn't gonna pay $60 to watch
Yeah,
a
shout
half-a-minute
out-
fight.
Shout out to all the people that paid $60 for something that was going to end up in full on Facebook.
I've
I
seen
paid-
her record.
I paid
I know.
$10
Two
because
vines.
me and some buddies all got together and we just kind of like cool to chill and watch the fights. It was unbelievable. This chick, like not Ronda Rousey, the fucking
What other
bitch
faces?
or whatever.
Corella.
Corella, yeah.
She's
Portuguese girl. I still wasn't going to cheer her.
she was bad mouthing Rousey, just like
Oh, yeah.
I'm
Well,
gonna.
she's
I'm gonna.
2-0 against the horsewomen.
Well, the thing that she's busy saying, she's like, I'm gonna retire undefeated. I'm just like, that is probably something you should never say.
Well,
Ever.
she was.
I don't care who you're
Even
fighting,
Mayweather was never that stupid.
because the minute you say it is the minute you lose.
You know
And-
who Mayweather is signed to fight soon?
No.
Not
Ronda
Pacquiao
Rousey.
again. Are you serious?
Really?
He has signed a celebrity fighting agreement, a boxing match against Ronda.
She's gonna destroy him.
Yeah.
Like he's
And
like
he's
you
still
can
gonna-
only back up so
And
much.
like the first thing he does is trash talk her. He's like, I'm not gonna have a problem fighting a woman because that girl is all man.
I saw him fight Pacquiao. He had a problem fighting Pacquiao.
I
He
saw
had a
Pacquiao
problem
had a bum
fighting.
shoulder.
Period.
I'm just like, I'm looking at her. I'm like, I'm a man. I'm a martial artist, and I wouldn't.
Oh, Rousey
No,
would fuck you right.
I wouldn't even question her. I'd be like, no, fuck no.
What's also because
Have
you're
you
a
seen her
person of
armbar?
morals.
Have you
What?
seen her armbar?
What if I give you $2 million to go in there and lose? No thanks.
No, that's.
I've seen her beat the
I
shit
don't
out of
want
other
to be
women.
permanently disabled.
I don't want to be permanently disabled, nor do I want to get my ass kicked by Ronda Rousey.
Yeah.
Nor do I want to be the guy who's like, yeah, I got kicked my ass kicked by a girl on national TV. Never.
Well, I wouldn't be embarrassed by getting my butt kicked by
By
Ronda
her,
Rousey
though,
on
no.
TV.
But
You know, I just don't want the pain. She would destroy me.
she just an incredible fighter, man.
Oh, she's an
It's
athlete.
like-
so
Yeah,
good.
beforehand, could you just do me a favor and just not hit me in the face, just like one to the gut, and I'll drop.
Making no promises, Jim. Making no promises. Straight kick to the gut. Told you I wouldn't punch him.
It's because I called Roddy Piper an idiot before he died. She's gonna kick my ass.
Oh yeah, and
Rowdy Ronda Rousey.
she said that right at the end. She's like, we lost. Did you watch it, Jim, or no?
I didn't watch the fight,
Oh,
but I know about it. I know she dedicated the fight.
Yeah,
to
right at the end, she's just like, we lost somebody special. We lost Rowdy Piper. He gave me permission to use his name. He's very important or something like that. So.
Yeah.
Other
Hey,
than that,
man.
good for you.
That is important.
Oh yeah.
It's Rowdy Piper. You gotta respect the man.
I kind of didn't.
I know you did.
Well, I mean, I respected him just the last month and a half. If I respect somebody, I'm honest with them.
Yeah.
And I was honest when I said that last month and a half, he was losing his mind, saying and doing some incredibly stupid things. And if I respect somebody, I'm going to call them out. You know, not out of disrespect, but to get the record straight. And, that's why at least, like, my argument with Taz ended civilly. You know, he and I basically both agreed, okay, it's all cool. We don't agree with each other, respect each other's opinions, and that's a big step considering his first statement to me was, who the hell are you to say what's what? And it's like, this is how you have a civil argument on Twitter. There's never going to be another one again.
Who the hell are you to say what's what, motherfucker?
Well, my immediate response is, I'm somebody who doesn't devalue a person's piece of work because of what outfit they're wearing.
Yeah.
And that pretty much put an end to the argument.
Which is funny, because, like, you're standing there and you're like, dude, you're better than this. This is why you're better than this.
Mhm.
And he's saying, I'm not better than this, and that's why I'm not better.
The towel is me. I am the towel.
And then I made the Glenn Jacobs remark, and I'm like, so did you tell Kane in 2003 he stole your gimmick?
Yeah.
Because I think Kane would have punched him out. You
They
know,
had the towel.
and then it kind of came down to, you don't know what you're talking about, but I respect your passion.
Yeah.
You know what?
Yeah.
I'll take it.
Close
I'll
enough.
take it.
You know, but it's not up. That's what I hate about these.
I hope he listens to this podcast so I can say right now, Taz, you're an idiot.
I don't know. When it comes to Taz and any kind of celebrity, I feel like you shouldn't have to defend your body of work if you feel confident about it.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, let's say somebody stole Sting's look.
Mm-hmm.
Sting's look is really unique, right?
Yeah.
Like, he's basically the Crow.
Yeah, I was about to say,
that's proof enough that it's not really that
Well,
unique.
but
My
in the
voice,
wrestling
my
world-
voice just went back to 1997.
Yeah.
I heard that. Wow!
But still,
I'm
like,
in the beer.
in the wrestling world, like him and what's that other dude? With like the mask Psychosis or whatever his name is.
Psychosis was one of them.
Psychosis
Yeah.
was one, yeah.
But it
like,
wasn't really the biggest. Anyway.
Psychosis
No.
had the horns coming out of his
Yeah.
out of his luchador mask.
Exactly, but like you have your look,
Before he
and
traded in for a do-rag and a lawnmower and a janitor's outfit, which isn't a gag. He did it. It was on SmackDown.
oh my god,
That
really?
happened?
He did. He was part of the Mexicools. It was.
Oh my god,
It was
that's
Psychosis, Super Crazy, and Juventud Guerrera.
Like,
And they
he's
came
one of
out
my
on
favorites.
one deer lawnmowers.
Oh my
What
god,
did-
I don't know what to say about
I
that.
love the Mexicools though. They were great.
What did Juventud had, or was I thinking Juventud had the horns?
No, Rey Mysterio wore the horns after Kevin Nash took his mask.
And then, so what did Juventud Guerrera have?
He had a normal mask that had a bunch of pointy bits, and then when he lost his mask, he just had a do-rag.
Joe,
Imagine-
go, man.
If you smell what that juice is cooking.
Imagine if they cut it before the CE. I'm the Jew. And then, like the commercial cuts, and it's like, wow, that guy's going
You
around
picture
calling
Tony
himself the Jew.
Schiavone, like, and WCW was terrible when it came to commercial breaks, cutting commentary off. Damn him! Damn the Jew!
Yeah, dude. I know.
Tune in to Braves Baseball.
And then it's like, oh no, now everyone's calling me the Jew.
Oh, I remember Juventud. Right.
Great
I
wrestler, terrible personality, and I don't mean his in-ring character. It was like Buff Bagwell. His personality got him in so much trouble that it didn't matter what he could do in the ring. He just couldn't work here no mo.
Yeah, he had like spikes out the front of his eyes, like over the like eyelashes almost. So
I'm picturing that guy from Tekken.
If you want to talk fighting games, we'll talk Street Fighter. I know Street Fighter, King of Fighters. I don't know shit about Tekken though. The last fighting game meet I went to was the Western Canadian Finals, and there was a huge line for Capcom versus SNK2, huge line for Street Fighter 4, huge line for MVC2, like that's just a given.
Yeah.
And then there was the Tekken guys, and there was about 6 of them just in a corner of like 130 people, and they were just playing each other in a round robin. And I felt so bad. I'm like, I should go over there and say hi. And they were not. It's like, what do you play? Well, I play a little bit of everything. You play Tekken? No, not really. Oh, fuck off. Like
Yeah.
they were. Like,
You don't play as the boxing kangaroo. Get out.
oh, I love Roger. Roger and the boxing raptor. And then the bear was cool, and King was... See, they had some weird characters. I like that.
It's like when you play
Tekken.
DOA.
Tekken is weird. There is no DOA crowds there. That game is
Maybe that was a
not
different
well
time.
received.
The first fighting games I ever played was Street Fighter, but then like moving on, the only other like I basically finished at Battle Arena Shinden.
That wasn't too bad. The problem with that
Maybe
was there was so
maybe
many,
Killer Instinct, maybe.
Killer Instinct was a good one.
like there was a lot of like with
I was
Battle
Mortal
Arena
Kombat
was the ring out I had a problem with and the sidestepping.
Yeah.
But KI had some the ring out thing as well, but it wasn't as bad.
KI came out like right when I became like the Nintendo Power Kid on my block.
Oh yeah.
Oh my god. But like I grew up a Mortal Kombat kid, which is terrible because my mom was trying to be a good parent by 90s standards. Which means I wasn't allowed to play Mortal Kombat. I wasn't allowed to watch wrestling. I did it all.
I know. You know what? I have a funny story about that because in like the tail end of the 90s and the beginning of the 2000s, there was that big push, if you guys remember, for like, look at what your kids are playing, rate their games, ESRB. Let's make sure that we're responsible parents.
Man.
So
Who's that created by?
Oh, that was
It was
Jack
an
Tramiel, wasn't it? Or
It wasn't Jack Tramiel. Jack Tramiel was head of Atari.
yeah, and I
But
thought
there's
he had
that lobbyist that's
the guy that wants to get
like
the
Jack
GTA.
Thompson. I think
Yeah,
it is.
some shit like that.
Jack
It's like-
Thompson. But the thing is, it's an independent agency made it because of Night Trap and Mortal Kombat.
Yeah.
Because they went to court saying that Night Trap was a game where you were trapping
could
and
kill
murdering
women.
teenage girls.
Even though that was not the point of the game.
You were protecting a slumber party from intruders.
That's like saying that Super Mario Bros. Is about killing Italians with mushrooms.
Yeah.
That's
mushrooms.
It's like mushrooms.
With mushrooms and turtle shells. But it's like that scumbag, was it Barbara Bush, who was like, oh yeah, Twisted Sisters, telling
Oh
the
yeah,
children.
rock music. Well, you
Like-
have to you have to point the
Firstly,
finger
you
at
always
someone
need
for your
something
lazy
to
parenting.
do.
Well-
Because, I mean, it goes back to Nancy Reagan and the war on drugs.
Oh,
right?
because way
There are
farther
people
back
that,
than
like, I had 3 grams of pot and I'm serving a 55-year sentence in Oklahoma prison.
yeah, and yet that guy had an 8-ball of coke, and he's out in like 3 months.
Yeah.
Well, look at all those guys in Corcoran prison with Charlie Manson, who's in Corcoran too. I'm like,
Yeah, he
you
murders.
were in a
8 people.
Supermax with Charlie Manson,
Yeah.
and you had 6.
And you-
what is it? Let's say a pound of pot.
Yeah,
Pot with intent to distribute. Now
Yeah.
you're a drug baron.
Now
or
you're-
something, you know?
you know, in the same room as like that weirdo. But
I don't know how I'm going to get a picture of
Oh,
on that
you can
splash
find
for the
it.
podcast
you
video.
can find it as like the video of him, like he's in court and he's trying to defend himself. Like, so why should we
Oh,
brawl
yeah,
you,
that-
sir?
you're
And
talking-
he's like,
That was a good one, yeah.
Yeah.
Where he's, he's defending his thing and he's
Was
just...
that before or after you tried to attack one of the
This
guys?
was
with
like
the-
90.
This was way
Oh,
back in the day.
this okay.
This
I
was
gonna
in
say,
court, him
'cause-
giving a testimony defending his actions.
And this was
in his like.
I thought you were
actual-
talking about a person that
No.
No, yeah, Charles Manson went on the full. He's like,
In his original court appearance, he actually tried to kill a lawyer. I think it was like the opposition's lawyer or whatever, with a pencil.
yeah, that sounds about Charlie Manson.
Uncle Charlie.
You know, once you start to rip like children out of mothers, you
Yeah.
don't go back to normal.
Yeah, you don't.
You don't
Yeah.
just flip a switch and go, oh, hey, look at that, I'm gonna buy some
But
doctors.
it's like once you get to fetish porn, you're not going back to missionary. It's you know, it's desensitization.
You know what? I've been there and I've come back.
Dad's more into the sensual porn now.
I'm more into the
car
touchy-feely
battery.
stuff, you know.
I love you, sweetheart.
I love you.
Let's make whoopee.
Now put on this leather mask. and
Whoopee!
see.
Wow, you must have had a little bit too much apple juice this evening.
Mel Torme over here making whoopee.
Remember the old
Maybe
Family Guy
whoopee.
bit with the British people, British porn? It's like,
Yes.
You know, Margaret, we could be having sexual intercourse right now.
Oh, I'm arriving. I'm arriving.
There we are. We're done.
Quite nice, quite nice.
Quite on, right.
No, man, like, okay, so my ESRB story. I went to Blockbuster. This was just after the ESRB had really started pushing, and Blockbuster was telling its employees, listen, you can't give kids these games. Like, you have to actually look at the rating. So I talked to my mom and I was like, listen, I'm just gonna go in there and I'm gonna grab a game because every week I would rent a game and my mom would rent a movie. And she's like, you know what, this week there's nothing good out. There never was. But you know, there's nothing good out, just go in and rent it. So I go in and I'm like, shit, Metal Gear Solid.
Yeah.
I have to rent this. So I slap it on the counter and I'm like, 1 Metal Gear Solid, please. And he's like, can't rent this to you. And I'm like, why? He's like, well, because it's mature and you're a teenager. And I'm like, are you kidding me?
I'm a mature.
I'm a very mature
Excuse me?
teenager.
And he's like, yeah, no, you're going to have to get your parent. So I go outside and Mom's like, where's your game? And I'm like, well, you won't let me rent it. And she's like, hold on 2 seconds. She walks in and the guy's just standing there. And my mom's like, what's going on here? And he's like, ma'am, do you know that your child rents mature rated games and this game contains this? And she goes, shush, shut up. Just give him the game. No, and
Your
I was like,
mom's
ma'am,
awesome.
ma'am, you
I don't know if that's
I
a
can't give this the game. And my mom goes, no, we're gonna let him rent the game. And he's like, well, you know, then you have to take your business elsewhere. And I was just like, really? Like, really?
Yeah, now the line's being crossed.
Oh, and when my mom hates the business, she hates the business. She went into Pinocchio Ice Cream, which was an ice cream store in Edmonton.
Yeah. I remember
One
that.
time when she was pregnant back in the 80s, and they wouldn't give her sherbet because they didn't have any on hand, To this day, she still boycotts Pinocchio ice cream.
Oh, that's like going to Burger King and being upset because they won't sell you a hot dog.
She went to the Olive Garden, and she wouldn't...
You don't have tacos?
They wouldn't...
I'm not coming
No,
back
they
here.
wouldn't give her saltine crackers. So she's like, you know what? We're leaving, and we're never coming back. And ever since then, it's not like she's missing much. It's the Olive Garden.
Yeah.
Right.
But back in, like,
salad, though.
like the 70s, when it was, like, a new thing...
Your mom sticks to her guns.
Oh,
I dig
dude,
it. I
me
dig
and
it.
her, and this is my problem because I have another story. We went to Rogers downtown on 100 and... What is it? It's on Jasper. And 100 and something.
Okay.
And there's that Rogers where the 7-Eleven is now. And I go and I try to rent Street Fighter, and it's rated teen.
Oh, Roger's Video. Okay.
Rogers Video. But I was 12 at the time. But my buddy was 10. And so we slapped his dad's card down and we're like, hey, we're going to rent Street Fighter. He's like, how old is this kid? 10? No, sorry, we can't do it. I'm like, but I'm 12. But that's his dad's card. And I'm like, oh, you don't even know what you started, son. I boycotted Rogers. From that very day forward, I've boycotted Rogers, and now they're out of business. And I feel like I had something to do with that.
But that's part of the problem. The big issue we have right now, like, you can't play Call of Duty or Grand Theft Auto. Both games are, they're either 17 plus or 18A.
Yeah.
Like, no games are 18A. But they're both high ratings, and they're loaded with 10-year-olds and 11-year-olds calling each other the N-word, calling each other faggots, calling each other... And it's like, your mom should not be letting you play this. The reason the ESRB is there is so that games for 10-year-olds are played by 10-year-olds, and games for 17-year-olds are played by 17-year-olds.
But it's the complete opposite.
Well,
I find more pleasure in Minecraft.
The ESRB wasn't being enforced.
Yeah.
And the thing is, when it was being enforced, your mom was flipping her lid.
Yeah, well, no, because my mom understands that, like, listen, my kid isn't violent, he's not going to fuck with you.
Like, it's very much playing into, like, the whole nanny state, right? Like, yeah, your kids can't do this. But my mom, I was young, and she was taking me to see things like Face Off, and Eraser. You know what I mean?
Oh
and
my
Rock.
God, my mom was not happy when she found out I saw Eraser.
I was young, and I was watching these rated quote-unquote R films with my mom. You look at them nowadays, and like, man, this is PG-13 at best. You know what I mean?
Well,
so, like,
it's always going to push the envelope, right?
Changed,
Well,
right?
it's just general desensitization. I mean, this shit...
Yeah.
Like, if you watch On the Western Front,
yeah,
which is a very violent movie, a lot of people die in that movie,
Yeah.
All Quiet on the Western Front is like World War I levels of extinction. There's, like, no blood in that movie. And all the guys, like, there's no squibs or nothing. It's just, machine guns, people are, falling down.
Yeah.
And then you go up to, like, I can't think of, when was the last World War I movie? I guess War Horse? No, Passchendaele. Passchendaele. They have, like, a full-on scene of a guy getting bayoneted right in the forehead.
Yeah.
And I'm like...
That was a great film.
Oh, I didn't like it.
You didn't like
I didn't like... I knew the people that worked on it.
I thought it was brilliant.
I didn't like Passchendaele because of... They fucked during an artillery barrage.
I was going to say, I was like, oh,
and then
no.
there was that annoying kid. And,
Yeah.
and the thing is, I wanted to see Canada's contribution to war. I didn't want to see what was going on at home.
Yeah.
Screw that. I want to be in the nitty gritty.
Yeah, who wants to watch Pearl Harbor to see a love story with Ben Affleck? And...
We want to see that.
We want to see the goddamn attack on
And I mean,
Pearl
but
Harbor.
like, it was really well done, though. Like, it was really well filmed,
And you know what? And that's a testament to, again, the people that I know that shot it. Brett Manilock.
I thought you were going to say Brett Michaels.
No,
I was like,
Greg Ott was in, like, there was so much shit that was going on with that, but I don't know, it's just, why, like, there's so many good battles. You can do Vimy Ridge, Passchendaele, Kitchener's Wood, you can do, like, the Somme.
Vimy Ridge would have been pretty cool.
Kitchener's Wood would have been great, because Kitchener's Wood, we lost a shit ton of guys, like, over 60% casualties or something.
You know what we need?
Fighting in trees,
we
bayonets.
need another solid, like, who was it? Was it Spielberg who brought out Band of Brothers?
That was with assistance from Spielberg. That was Tom Hanks.
Right, Tom Hanks. But, and they also did the Pacific.
Yeah.
Pacific, not as good
I'm a big
as
fan of
Band
that
of Brothers.
Yeah.
But I feel like they could definitely keep going with the Band of Brothers type thing, but maybe follow a different group of fellas, you know what I'm saying?
Oh, totally. Like, if they followed the Canadians, that would be interesting. Or the Australians in North Africa.
Yeah.
But they, like North Africa's a huge campaign.
Speaking of
Farley
North
Mowat has a great book about his time in the war.
Really?
Yeah, there's a story, actually, that my buddy likes to tell.
For those of you who don't know, Farley Mowat's Canadian.
Farley Mowat, the great poet. But yeah, like my buddy keeps telling me it because I'm the only like Italian reenactor in all of Canada. So he always tells me at the time that Filey Moet was driving, and he drives up a hill and he sees this valley full of Italians. And he's like, "Holy shit, we gotta get back there!" And suddenly, this Italian, he drives up in his like Fiat Topolino or whatever, and he gets up. And he's this like high-ranking dude, and he comes up and he's like, "Where do I surrender?" And he's like, what do you mean, sir? And he's like, "Well, we're surrendering. Where do you want me to surrender? You clearly are in charge. You're coming to give, you know." And he's like, "Okay, follow me." So they march back to HQ, and he like walks up and he's like, "Hey, there's like 30,000 Italians that want to surrender. You want to like help me?"
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
Now picture that in your head at like the customer service desk. There's
Yeah.
like 30,000 people here.
We gotta like,
I'll give up.
30,000 people want a refund. Why they would have given up though?
Because they
It's
somehow-
mostly because they didn't want to. Dude, if you want to get on this podcast can get a lot longer.
No, I'm just
But-
was
but
it because
the
they
basic-
didn't want to fight, or
Yeah.
they didn't want to?
We're only halfway through
So
the thing.
it wasn't really they didn't want to fight. It was they didn't want to shoot other Italians. The biggest part with most Italians during the Civil War, which not a lot of people call it the Civil War, was that the guys in the South just didn't want to shoot their family in the North. Like if they were shooting other Italians, and before this, so this was in sometime late 43, early 44. So this is just when the armistice happened. If they had been fighting side by side for 3 years before that, why the hell would they want to shoot
Fair
their
enough.
brothers
exactly,
before
yeah.
then? And the guys that wanted to continue fighting went up north, and they formed a ton of battalions, like the Decima Mass X, the Nembo, the Folgore, the Lupe di
This kid, man,
Toscana.
the amount of
No.
knowledge this kid has.
Well, only about
This
this one
passion-
subject, though. But
What?
seriously,
This
they
passion,
formed...
I play Battle of the Bands for the Wii. This guy's actually got
No, you play
some-
Sakura Clicker a lot, from what I've seen.
Yeah.
I just let it run.
Funny
It's
story
a
for you,
cookie
Dan.
clicker clone. It just wow, that was hard to say.
Funny
It's a-
story. When I was in Dubai,
Mm-hmm.
I went out to the sand dunes between Oman and the Emirates, and we were 4x4ing. And what's the first animal I see? The only animal I see is the desert fox. First thing pops in my head. Rumble!
This little itty bitty desert fox.
Who
I
him?
just saw
I
the
have.
peak. The peak on Audacity.
Rumble!
Brilliant.
It's funny because you gotta respect the guy.
You gotta respect him, but at the same time, looking back at what he had to deal with and what was presented before him. So he gets into North Africa, early 41,
Yeah.
and they're just like, "Listen, we're losing pretty bad. You gotta help us out." We pushed into Egypt as fast as possible, and we exhausted our supply lines. Don't do that. And he goes, "Well, no, we're gonna do it." And it's like, well, that's a really bad idea. You
Right.
probably shouldn't do that.
But
And he goes, no, I'm gonna do that. And then he does. And guess what happens? He exhausts his supply lines, and then he falls back to friggin' Tobruk, and then he falls back to El Alamein, and then he falls back to, like, Tunisia.
He was honorable, I suppose.
He was honorable in war. Well, hey, when he was said, listen, you have to commit suicide, he goes, okay, give me the gun. So they give him a gun, shoots himself in the head.
Well, that was because he had betrayed Hitler, right? Because they had given
Yeah, he
him
was-
orders or something.
he was
Now you know what, fuck
Wasn't he
that.
part of the story or the rumor that had gone around was he was part of the conspiracy behind his assassination?
that's what I had
Oh, yeah, totally. No. Most of
Yeah.
the German... Okay, so here's
All
the
those
way
crazy
that
It was
Germans.
either you take your own life and we say you died a hero, or we kill
That's
you,
what I heard,
kill
yeah.
your family, and you're disgraced.
How the fuck did we end on this tour? This.
well, but you know what? We are going to
Because
touch
of
back
Mel
to Mel
Gibson.
Gibson
Perfect.
because I want to talk about Gallipoli
I
later.
love
Okay.
that he and I went to that at the same
I
moment.
see.
Mel Gibson.
Metal Gibson.
A lot of the Wehrmacht and the Heer didn't like Hitler because Hitler was a thug. Like, a lot of people don't understand that the SS aren't a military branch. They are Hitler's personal
Side
army.
note: the word "thug" comes from "thuggy," which was an Indian cult.
the thuggies.
The Thuggies.
Kalima.
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 Anyway, sorry,
It still
continue.
sounds like a massage parlor I would think about walking
The
into.
Thuggies. Listen, I'm part of the
Come get your
Thuggies.
Ruby over at the
Come get your Robbie at the Thuggy.
God, this got racist
we
fast.
just
I swear
exhausted
I,
our last
I
three.
swear I have Indian friends.
All three of our Indian viewers are like, "What is going on?
Now the last one's gone too.
You want
It's
bastard?"
like, no, you guys don't get it. We're Canadian. It's cool.
Yeah, you know what? That's
Yeah,
kind of funny thing
Everybody
about
loves us.
Canadians.
We love you.
That's kind of the
Come
funny thing
on.
about is like you can do that and no one will care because everybody does it. Like I have friends who are like
they do it
from China
That's right.
who walk up and go, "Hey, Larry, how's it going, Larry?" Like, they make fun of you, you make fun of them, everyone has a little laugh.
Yeah. It's very different when we're not using it out of hate. The thing is, when the big issue, like, with what's going on, the Obama thing and the Hogan thing, it's context is lost to so many people. The fact that the word was uttered is the major issue.
Yeah.
Not how the word was used. Now, I'm not justifying why the three of us can use the N-word, because under most circumstances, because I have used it with strict permission in only situations where I'm not going to get decked in the face for it.
Well, if it's
although there was one where I totally should have been decked in the face for it. But
oh, I've been there too, don't worry.
but it's the idea that we've at least put some thought and consideration into the people that we are saying this to, as opposed to the what I'm saying versus how you're interpreting it technique, because apparently, if I interpret what you're saying in an offensive manner, somehow I'm the one that's right. You're the one that said it. You know what you mean.
No, you know what? It's so stupid, because the Americans have this idea, or I'm not going to blanket all Americans.
Slam Americans.
Well, I'm not going to blanket all Americans, because I know a few Americans up here that are really, really great guys and gals, but
they've been Canadian.
They've been Canadianized. But the problem is, in America, you have the right to be offended, and people exercise that right immediately. Up here, it's like
it's the outrage culture.
Relax.
It's like, hey, bro, why you say that, eh?
Hey, just calm down,
What's
there,
and we
what's
have
all
a
the bad
conversation.
timbers about there?
It's all about the conversation, right? Like if I go, Dan, I'm so sick and tired of those crazy Italians.
Exactly.
And you're like,
those freaking Frenchmen.
And you're like, oh, those damn French people. I'm like, oh, yeah.
And I'm
you got
over
me
here
on
being
that
like,
one.
well, I'll let you guys get to it. I'm just going to sit in my Fiat and wait for it to break down.
And we're trying to figure out something funny to
has Portugal made?
I was like, gonna say, we're trying to figure out something funny to say with the Portuguese.
We have the perfect mix of Brit and American humor.
Yeah.
So Americans like the full-on, like, guy falls on his ass, get kicks in the nuts, kind of that kind of humor. Whereas the Brits like this subtle, like,
it's
hey,
verbal games,
like that kind of thing,
yo,
like that.
mom. But it's very much true.
Like the lovable idiot. Like when you think of Top
they
Gear,
look at us. Americans don't look at Canadians like we're their slower baby brothers.
Yeah, they really do.
But the thing is, like, I've been trying to figure out the traits that Canada has, and we are always like the backhanded compliment, the passive aggressive brother.
But if you look
and we
at
let them think that we're stupid and we're
Right.
rolling our eyes at them because they don't got the context.
But if you look at it, that's how we are. Like, you know what I mean? It's because somebody says something to us, and we don't shut off immediately. You know, like if somebody's like, "Oh man, those damn French, all they did was fucking cower during the war." I'm like, well, I guess you could think of it that way, but they did have some of the best, resistance back. You know what I mean?
And it's not even that. Even like post-armistice,
right?
In 40,
but that's the thing. Is like I don't shut off and go, "Fuck you, man, fuck you." You know what I mean?
Immediately take offense.
Yeah.
Because it's not a
I sit there and
you
go,
have the right to be offended culture.
I was like, well, you have
That's
the right
real
to your opinion,
sarcastic
sir.
shit. I'm like, the best thing that came from Germany invading France is now they put chocolate on their croissants.
The best thing that came about Germany invading France was that the Saarland became a thing, and now the Saarland has unrestricted prostitution.
Could you imagine? And like, imagine the perfect world where Hollywood has all the money it needs and stuff.
They just go to Germany.
Yeah.
Because they go to Germany. But you get, like, for example, Captain America, right?
Mm-hmm.
Captain America beats Red Skull. That's how the story goes.
Sure.
But you come out with the obverse film. What if Red Skull had beaten Captain America? You know what I mean? So you could watch either one or both.
Yeah.
So on
this is a popular topic.
And I'd be amazed if there isn't already a comic where that was made, because
the
DC Universe had their own equivalent with the Injustice series.
Comics, but how cool would it be to see a
Red
film
Sun.
that way, right?
Where Superman is communist.
Right, I do remember that.
Superman. But they've had this, like, the Turtle Dove series of alternate history where, like, the Nazis win and Fortress America's everywhere and they drain the Mediterranean for land for Italy.
Cool.
It's all very...
More land for your motherland.
I love seeing that kind of... I love the alternate history
I like
stuff.
that kind of... Like,
I think I have a game somewhere I've been meaning to play. It was like 2023, and it was basically a game of Risk. That's the reason I purchased it. But it was if the Cold War had become hot. You know, it's if the bombs had dropped and now you have everybody scrambling to divvy up the new landmass.
Which I find so stupid because the Cold War became hot so many times. It was just through a lot of puppet governments because that's the way wars are fought now.
Yeah.
Well, wars aren't fought between a country and a country. Like if you look at the Ukraine conflict right now,
the countries are just advocates.
Exactly. It's like we're advisors. We're gonna send advisors over.
Yeah. But it's like the film Red Dawn.
Yeah. Wolverine. Wolverines. Back in Gary Feldman.
Right. And I actually just watched the new one too.
Was that Haim or Feldman?
Feldman.
Was that Feldman? Yeah, that was. I can never get.
It was the Canadian one.
I actually really enjoyed the new one though. It was really good.
Did you? I didn't see the new one.
I wasn't expecting much from it, but I was actually really impressed. I kind of liked it more than the original.
Ooh,
that's saying something.
Words.
That's saying something. I know.
Those are some fighting words there, Werewolf. You're gonna have to get on your motorcycle and
plan on reviewing both of them actually. But the thing is, like, I like that kind of like what if stuff, you know. Like nowadays, like the new Red Dawn had to do with North Korea, right? And I mean, North Korea, come on now. North Korea could probably barely pack a parachute.
I love that comic. That comic that appeared right after Kim Jong Un had taken over. Basically, Kim Jong Un is like 4 inches tall, and he walks up to America, and it's like he can barely even like get up to the guy's boot, and he tosses the little missile and just goes bop, and he's like,
"Fuck you!"
Yeah, just goes up. What?
What are you gonna do?
What are you
Now, you know what? Honestly, if North Korea does anything, they've been harassing Japan and, of course, the other Korea for so long. The U.S. isn't even gonna have to touch them.
Nope, not at all.
It's gonna be Japan, and Japan, scary as hell.
Well, the only reason, and Japan just signed a thing where they're allowed to bring soldiers overseas for battle again.
Well, because they were disarmed for so many years. I think the U.S. It's about time that they give them and the Germans back their army.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, the only reason
it's about time.
Mm-hmm.
There's only one reason South Korea and Japan have not retaliated against North Korea, and that's China.
Yeah.
Well, we beat Big Bad China once. We can beat them again. They're going through a recession right now. Their troops have never been all that great. It's like the Russians. The Russians
and nobody wants
scary.
that war because you don't know who has the missiles.
That's the thing. Is like you may have shitty soldiers, but you have 3 billion of those shitty soldiers.
That's why Russia wins wars, right?
Right, but I'm talking about China, right?
Yeah.
China, you invade South Korea, you know, or you boat over to Japan. Japan is not a big place. Japan, the topography of Japan is such that they're located in main hubs, so like Tokyo and Kyoto and all that stuff, right? And the thing is, because they can't build cities on the side of mountains, so they build it where they can, and so you have a fairly easy target. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, and then you get into the Okinawan islands with like Iwo Jima and stuff like that, right? Like, and those guys are so mellow and calm. They're not like normal Japanese. They're like, they're like the Hawaiians.
They're more like the characters you'd expect if there was another Karate Kid movie made.
Hey, Jim-san, hey.
Which there was another Karate Kid movie made.
But it was in China.
We're not going to bring up Jaden Smith and
It
Jackie
was
Chan.
in China, and it was Kung Fu, and had nothing to do.
They should have called that the Kung Fu Kid.
It should have been the Kung Fu Kid.
They should have changed it up, because, first off,
how did, like, they turn wax on, wax off to jack it on, jack it off? How did that get past the censors?
Jack on, jack off.
Jack it on and jack it off, my friend.
Oh my god.
You know what? And I still refuse to watch that film, and I don't care who wants me to review it. I would never review it in 1,000 years.
That script was a joke, and they sent it as like there was some writers that were like, "This will never get made."
Yeah, that was exactly. It's kind of like
they'll never get Jackie Chan.
It's the whole South Park thing, where South Park would put every episode. South Park makes like the most raunchy, disgusting joke that the censors will cut, so that their other jokes will get through the censors.
Right.
And then sometimes they just let the raunchy joke get through. And the Karate Kid remake, you just know, was the raunchy we have joke? 3 scripts we want made, but we have to give them something shitty that they're going to say an absolute no to. And they said yes, and now we're on the hook with the goddamn Jackie Chan's an alcoholic, and Will Smith's kid doesn't want to move to China.
I don't understand how we got in this discussion last time.
He's still more talented than Brooke Hogan.
Yeah, but he's
Because
far less
celebrities' kids are
attractive.
dicks.
But like we got in this discussion last time about how you can remake films that are unremakeable.
Well, it's not even that they're unremakeable. It's just too soon.
But even then, like the Karate Kid for me is a staple. Karate Kid is like one of my favorite films of all time.
I agree with you.
If they remake it, I refuse to see it. Just like if they remake Goonies, I'd never see it.
Oh, they will too.
They're making a second one. It's going to be the sons of the original. All the original cast is there. I think besides like Joey
I heard
Joey
about that.
Pants
Like in
and Anne
2012,
Ramsey.
they were talking about
Because
that.
Anne Ramsey died. That's the Mama Fratelli.
Yeah.
But the two Fratelli brothers, I don't think they're going to be in it. But it's going to be the original cast, like Sean Astin and Corey Feldman and whatever.
Some things are just best left alone.
That
And-
is a hilarious. Because I was just going to talk about the like. It's taken forever for the Goonies movie to come out compared to like the Five Nights at Freddy's movie, which is almost completely made.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
then you managed to throw in the exact sentence they give you once you beat Night 7 on Five Nights 4. Some things are best left alone.
And that's that big box in Five.
The
Five
box. Yeah.
Sorry, spoilers. There's a box and there's
Whoa.
got locks on it. Whoa!
I'm convinced the puppet's in the box. There.
Probably.
Ruined it for a bunch of kids.
No.
Now you just.
No.
Now I guess you can't play the mobile game while you're sitting in the waiting room.
But legit, that movie actually does look like it's going to be great.
I haven't heard anything about
I
it.
have no.
The animatronics are actually like animatronics.
That's the only thing I've seen
Really?
is they built Chica. They
See,
built the chicken.
There's something to say about that. You know, like, what film was I just watching?
Probably Jurassic World because they had them and then they
No.
CGI'd over them and then they looked really bad.
That
It
movie
was-
was so bad.
No, it's one with
Life
Pierce
finds a
Brosnan.
way. Life finds a way to make a shittier movie.
I think it was The November Man with,
Steven Seagal?
no, with
That's
Pierce Brosnan. They had no CGI. Every explosion was real, and I was like, it felt real. You know what I mean?
felt
Like,
good.
it
Let's
was
just
like,
get-
this is going back to old school, like, Expendables did, you know?
Yeah.
Let's really blow shit up.
Yeah.
If the
Okay.
conversation that I had with Ryan G from Sonic 1029 ever gets on the air, because we talked about this, what made Roddy Piper different. It has to be genuine. If you don't believe your gimmick, no one will believe your gimmick. If you don't have the enthusiasm, no one else is going to have that enthusiasm. And the whole thing about CG is you're acting in front of, a broomstick.
Yeah.
And you have to make that broomstick look intimidating so you can CGI Predator on it.
Yeah.
Which is
And it's
why,
like, it's not going to be authentic because you're not authentic.
at least Lord of the Rings pulled it off well, because they had Andy Serkis who was wearing that suit, so you could act to his face.
Yeah, and that's fine. That's an
Right.
actor acting.
Yeah.
Like,
But like when I agree with Jim, when you got like a tennis ball on a rope and that's your bad guy, fight the bad guy. It's a tennis ball.
I'm picturing like cup and ball.
It's just pretend Jimmy over
Just
there.
pretend this is Freddy Fazbear.
fight the dragon.
Jimmy the janitor with his cup ball.
Okay. or like pretend to be scared by Bonnie. Just some guy walks in with like a
it's
a
a
Bonnie
rabbit.
face on like a
Yeah.
stick. Ooh.
Boo.
Now, see, and when you
By the way,
talk,
I'm putting it down there right now, and this is a drinking game before it even happens. Bonnie attacks somebody. You just know at some point some idiot is going to walk by Bonnie and be like, "What's up, Doc?" It's going to happen.
Oh, it is gonna happen, isn't
You
it?
know it's going to happen. Because they're going to make a Bugs Bunny reference. Because dicks.
Well, see, and Scott has tried to keep that shit away.
Ultimately, though, he's just an advisor. He's a consultant.
But you know what? It sounds like they're taking his advice pretty...
Well, because,
Pretty legit.
let's face it, how many people can put 4 games out in 11 months and they're all hits?
And they're all, like, super hits. Like,
He had a
man,
5th game, nobody paid attention to it. I can't remember what
Which
it
was
was called.
that one?
I can't remember what it was called. It was mobile.
That was Five Nights at Freddy too?
It wasn't a Five Nights at Freddy's
Oh,
game. He
okay.
just put another game to break up the monotony of it.
Four Nights at Randy's.
I did a video.
We get crunk at Randy's.
I did a video where I played like Chubby Hurdles and Fart Hotel and Chipper and Sons. I played like all the Scott
Oh, I
Conner games.
remember watching your Chipper review, yeah.
The game was so broken. I want to play more mobile games, but my computer just does not like the audio. I played Sit and Starve, and it was just a digital mess.
Well, I can see you didn't starve.
See? Canadian humor right there.
Canadian humor. It's okay
Jim's
because,
like, yes.
because I'm also a little poor.
You're right.
We're all a little poor.
Donair poutine.
Oh god, I'm
Donair.
eating Chinese food like crazy and it's affecting me.
You're always hungry.
Oh god, it's so good.
Donair is delicious.
Donairs, man. Do you know who would eat Donairs?
I was like, yeah, I was about to say it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I was like, well.
I bet that dude crushes Donairs. I bet he walks in and he's like, super Donair, please.
The Jews don't come here, do they?
It's all pork, right?
Do you want sweet sauce or tzatziki? Which one did the Jews eat? The other one.
Oh,
Wait a
poor
second.
Mel
You
Gibson.
guys are Iranian, right? You don't like the Jews. Perfect.
Of all the things that he could be and do, he was so good in Mad Max 2.
He was
so good
phenomenal.
in Gallipoli.
Lethal Weapons.
Fucking love the Lethal Weapons.
He's just.
I even like number 4.
I once
like
stayed
number
up
4 too.
way too late back when the three of us were in college. I was so exhausted that day. I always, I'd come home and I'd watch a movie and then, go to sleep at 1. And then, 5:30 I gotta get up and freaking go to school. But, The Patriot was on.
Nice.
And
That's
I
an
had
excellent
no
film.
idea how long that fucking movie is.
3 hours, man.
When they put commercial breaks on it.
Probably
It was
4.
4 and a quarter. It's like the movie finished, and I couldn't walk away from it. It was 20 to 5.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh my
You
god.
just gotta ride it through.
I'm gonna get 11 minutes of sleep, and then I gotta go to school.
I did that at one of my very first jobs after school. I stayed up and watched Bicycle Thieves, which I didn't realize was a long movie. And I drank a shit ton of cognac and watched Bicycle Thieves. And I stayed up until about 6, and I had to wake up for work at 6:30. And I was like, this is worth it. This is worth
Well, at
it.
least when it's worth it. I mean, The Patriot, I think at that point in time, it's like, oh, this was a bad decision, but I still like the movie.
I don't remember much of The Patriot. There's a lot of
Great
hoorah
film.
America in that. I remember that.
So
Yeah.
I thought it was a
Well, he
very
was
well
someone
done
who
film.
initially tried to... It was very much like America in World War II.
Yeah.
It was,
Yeah.
I'm staying out of this, people are people, I'm going to help both
Then you
sides.
killed my
And then-
family.
Then he got forced into one side of the war by an evil general.
An evil Britishman.
Which, might I add, kind of bothers me. When the Americans were like, we saved the war. I was like,
Oh, what?
Yeah,
what?
let's
Wait, what? Like World War II?
World War II.
Because they do it in every war, by the way.
No, yeah, but I'm just like, I was like, I don't know, the Canadians were in there the whole time.
In reality, if you study the wins and the losses, the Americans go from being super green and losing pretty much every battle they fight,
Yeah.
to being pretty damn good troops.
No, don't get me wrong, they're phenomenal. Like, I mean, I'm talking about Easy Company. Band of
Well,
Brothers.
easy, but easy company's fine, but there
No,
are a
but-
lot. They landed in a good spot.
Right, but you know what I mean. Like I'm not taking
Yeah.
anything away from their troops or anything at all.
Mm.
It's just it bothers me when they say they came into the war and they won it.
No, yeah, because they didn't. Well, okay, if you look at what they came
I was
into,
like,
so they walked in.
You're smoking weed in Holland because of
Yeah.
us, boys and girls.
On the
Let me just
Kasserine
say that.
Pass, they got massacred, and that was one of the first times they ever come up against Germans, right? And so then they go up to Omaha Beach, and they try to get that, but they're the last ones off the beach. And I know it was a steep cliff and shit, but that also helps you not to to defilade yourself to the enemy. And then you get Bastogne and the Battle of the Bulge, where it's listen, blokes, don't go up there. No, we're going up there.
Well,
Gee, we're getting heavy resistance and dying?
well, Bastogne was in the middle of a storm and it's stormy weather and
But the Europeans have been fighting in that for
no,
years.
and that's exactly right. But I mean, that's
Really?
what happens when you're gung ho. You just go for it,
If
right?
you want to talk about one of the allies that won the war, Russia was 100% the reason the war was won.
Oh yeah.
We distracted the Germans until the Russians
Unless
could come.
you're talking about Holland, like I said.
Well,
the
the Russian of
Netherlands-
Holland was the Canadians and the Brits before them in Market Garden.
But I would just like to say that we are the reason why people are smoking weed in Holland.
Exactly. Well, but
Just saying.
and we're also the reason that there aren't Germans on the coast of France. The shit that we had to endure. So the Americans,
I'd like to
rah,
thank
rah.
you. I'd like to thank the Americans. I'd like to thank you guys for walking through France, freeing my family.
Well, it's so ridiculous because they get off Omaha Beach. The Canadians are already 60 kilometers inwards, and they're like, "Catch up, guys! Come on!" And
Makes you feel better, eh? We'll stop for
we'll stop for a little bit there, eh?
We got Timmy's over here.
and the Americans drive right to Germany, and they're like, "You guys take care of it." It's like you just came and then left, and you let us deal with the raging bitch that is the German army. in France right now.
That's basically the story of the Afghanistan War, too.
Pillboxes everywhere.
Afghanistan War, U.S. hops right on in, we need all our allies, the Brits and the Canadians, go in, land the country. Okay, we have to go fight in Iraq. You guys have this country.
Well, and
10 years later, we're still in there.
That chaps me big time. Canada, we were known as peacekeepers for a long, long time. We were peacekeepers.
Harper kind of fucked that
UN peacekeepers.
Especially when it came to Iraq and Kuwait.
Exactly. That's what we did. That's what we were.
The Balkans.
Sorry, was it Bosnia and Kuwait?
Bosnia.
It's Bosnia and Cyprus and Kuwait and Somalia. Somalia not so much.
Somalia not so much. But I mean,
we've done a lot of good for Somalians in the last few years.
Yeah, they all come out of Edmonton.
They don't work where I used to work.
Hey man, they make delicious food. I'm not complaining.
The thing I'm saying
I've
is
yet to have good Somali food.
We showed up to help and peacekeep, and then they're like, okay, we gotta go. And now we're like, oh crap, we gotta become soldiers again.
Well,
all right.
It's more.
Here's your magazines, boys.
It's more Harper than anything.
Pull them socks there up, boys. It's kind of time to get harder.
Time to get them boats there already.
You know, and it is not easy being a peacekeeper. There's a great film and book about this called "Shake Hands with the Devil" by Dallaire. Because Dallaire, by the way, "Shake Hands with the Devil," that's a movie you should review. That's a hard movie to watch. Okay, it's got that really popular French actor called Roy Dupuis, I think his name is.
I gotta
He played Rocket Richard, and he played in La Femme Nikita, the TV series.
Okay, know him. I know him.
I had a coworker who said he was in there. He had to find any sort of evidence that he was.
He was not. He guarantee
probably not. He said that he was just a cameo. He was like just walking through a mall and didn't realize they were filming. He was just kind of accidentally. I don't even remember his name. It's Patrick something. He's like, yeah, I was accidentally in Femme Nikita.
Hey, Patrick something. Stop living a lie.
Yeah. You're a liar, Patrick.
No, you know what? That show was so confusing. I remember watching that as a kid, like, when are the boobs going to show up?
Yeah.
Like, there was a lot of sexually heated scenes, and I was just waiting for them boobies.
I only remember one scene, I believe, at the time, I was either working for PTI Group or Royal Camp Services.
No,
and our office had, it was Royal, our office had this really crappy-ass little area where all the staff have to wait before we can load onto the bus and head off to prison. And Femme Nikita was on, and like I had no idea who the good guys were and the bad guys were because it was just like a bunch of people swarming office, and this woman's trying to get like info from a computer and shoots this woman in the face, and I could have sworn that the guys swarming were supposed to be the good guys because she just killed an innocent person. No, she was the good guy.
Yeah, Luc Besson does that a lot. His movies are very. Like, if you look at Leon the Professional, he makes the police the bad guys, right? I know, it's a thumbs-up kind of movie. Gary Oldman, you know? What's that dude?
I actually reviewed that film, I believe.
Did you? It's a great movie. Who's the other dude? It's Gary Oldman and the French dude.
Jean Reno.
Jean Reno. That guy's a cool dude. But seriously, I will lend you Shake Hands with the Devil. I'm putting that on radio.
Just to be clear, he's actually from Casablanca. He's,
Roy Dupuis?
No.
Jean Reno.
Jean Reno. He's Moroccan.
Well, there you go. Definitely doesn't look it.
No, he doesn't. But his parents were from France.
Yeah, I figured they were probably, you know.
But there were two Nikitas. So there was La Femme Nikita, the film,
and then there was
and the TV show. No, the TV show is La Femme Nikita. There was also a film, La Femme Nikita.
That's Luc Besson's film.
Nikita was his. And then
wait a second. They made a La Femme Nikita movie?
There's Nikita, which is Luc Besson film. And then there is La Femme Nikita, which is... No, that's the Canadian American TV show. Yeah.
Oh, it was Canadian. There was nothing but Montreal actors in that.
Yeah.
Okay, hey, by the way, so I went out last night to see my buddy who is a DJ at the Ice House.
Okay.
Shout out to the Ice House because those guys are great. But there's this drunk French guy, and I can tell he's French because he's heavy accent. So we're trying to get him out. And we've been talking English to him for like an hour, trying to get him to leave. So I break into French, and I'm just like, Monsieur, arrête, allons-y, s'il vous plaît. And he just stops, and he's like, he doesn't know what to do. He's like, holy shit, I gotta change gears here, and I'm wasted. And then he goes, fuck you, you're not French, it's allons-y. And I'm like, I swear to God, allons-y means let's go.
It's allons-y.
Yeah, that's what I thought. And he goes, oh, it's allons-y. Fuck you, you're not French. And I'm like, no, I'm fairly certain it's Allons-y.
Alonso would be like O is go to. So like you would be basically saying go to. So it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
If you said allons-y, it says
That
let's go.
that means
Translates
let's go,
for
right?
let's go.
I knew I was right. That was bugging me forever.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, is this dude just wasted or?
I think you exposed him as not being really French.
That's
Well,
right.
but he had like a super French
The
accent.
word,
He was
the
walking
word
There
O,
ought to be something that the people have
When I went to England,
the word O, A-U-X,
Yeah.
is let's go to.
Mhm.
So it's like O. It's basically two.
Yeah.
Right. So anyway, sorry, Jim, didn't mean to cut you off.
That's
But
good. When I went to England back in 2010, my buddy Kellen and I, and we had a host family. This girl Amy and her boyfriend Martin were going to show us around. You know, be like tour guides and that. Now, Amy and I had chatted plenty because we used to play Outwar together online.
Nice.
Martin played too, but Martin, he had never heard my real voice. So I put on a fake accent for him.
Hi, Mike.
And, well, here's the
Or
thing,
Mel
and this
Gibson.
is proof that my friend, this is proof that my friend, I'm going to leave it in the podcast, my friend's a goddamn idiot. Kellen doesn't know how to do a Canadian accent. He comes off Wisconsin. He comes off like Pickles from Metalocalypse. But for Martin, I put on the fake Québécois, talk out to side
Jean
talk
Chrétien.
about how popular it is to be on the
Jean Chrétien have saggy face.
and the thing is, Martin didn't know, like, for the first day. I had this thing going this whole time, and of course he didn't know that I was faking a message. He thought that's what Canadians sound like.
Bonjour, Martin, je suis Jean.
So then the next day I throw this on and I just, throw a little more boots into it and talk about how good it is to play hockey.
Hey, there you go, hoser. You watch.
You were a hoser, eh?
How about you get more beer in your
I love how we do the accent better
Either.
than anybody in the
Either.
world, baby.
I've watched enough Bob and Doug McKenzie to know my
Bob
Canadian
Doug
name.
McKenzie.
Bob and Doug McKenzie. There you go.
I ended up introducing Martin to Troll 2 and Crown Royal Canadian Whiskey.
Dude, Crown Royal's the shit.
But it was hilarious. He gave me a Guinness, I gave him a Crown.
Crown Royal
And
comes in a
we-
bag.
we
That's
drank-
a win right there.
We drank and watched Troll 2, and he puked.
Mm-hmm.
I outdrank, and he was Welsh. I outdrank the Welshman
You know,
Wow.
as much as those Brits can
on
say
his turf.
they
Wow.
can drink, I met up with a bunch of them for my birthday, and those guys were freaking great. They had a ton of Patron, and I'm not a tequila drinker, but this guy was like giving me like 3 ounces a shot, and he wasn't drinking like any. And he goes up to Ashley afterwards, and he's like, "Is that your boyfriend?" And she's like, "Yeah, unfortunately, right now it is."
Unfortunately. So give it a couple minutes.
Yeah, and he goes, "Holy shit, this guy can drink," and she's like, "Yeah, he kind of can," and I'm like, I can't drink. Like I am a lightweight, but to these guys, I was like crazy. I don't
Canadians are drunks then.
Well, we can just hold on. We're tough people.
We're
I think
We're tough people.
Even if we're
don't get enough
inebriated,
credit for it.
I think
of
what
course
it
we
is-
do. We get a ton of credit for it.
I think
We're
what
not.
it is a lot of people
We're
when
a
they
nice
drink,
Russia.
they
Yeah.
kind of just
There you go.
We're nice. We're nice
Russia.
Russia. That's
Yeah.
what we are.
We live in freezing cold temperatures, and we like, hey, it's snow today.
We
Yeah.
love our fatty food.
It is what it is. We love our bacon. Canadian
Fuck
back
yeah,
bacon.
we do.
speak for yourselves.
Sorry, I love bacon.
Dude, I'll get you some turkey bacon. It's just as good.
That's not as good.
Oh, I love turkey
beef
bacon.
is awesome.
Dude, turkey bacon,
Turkey bacon.
I've had
in a
turkey bacon.
BLTC is just the best.
The problem with turkey bacon is it dries out so quickly when you cook it. So either you
Don't
have
mind that.
spongy shit or you have cardboard.
No.
Beef bacon has similar fat content to
Mhm.
pork bacon, so it's actually really nice. But when people drink, their inhibitions kind of stop, their censoring kind of stops. The thing is, Canadians more or less act the way we are.
Yeah.
So the reason, I don't think we handle our booze better. I think we just...
We just have no inhibitions ever.
we don't really
We're
have
just
far
a
to
nation
go on
of
our
lovers.
limits. Yeah.
Which is
It's-
actually so true, because if you think about it right now, the biggest hot topic in the States, other than the fact that somebody shot a lion and the flag coming
And
down,
old man
is
used the N-word.
why can't girls bare their breasts? And then in Canada,
Why can't you?
well, in Canada, you can.
And
And it's totally not illegal. Like, in Ontario, you can just full-on just bike
Yep.
around with those knockers hanging out.
And people should, damn it.
And they do. And Canadians are starting to have to get used to that again because there's an upswing of girls going topless.
Yeah.
Which, to be fair, I've never found a big problem with toplessness.
No.
It's to me, it's not
No.
a problem, about whether or not women should have the right to do that. I just feel like the men that do shouldn't.
Well, actually, I have a problem with the guys that exploit it.
Because
Like,
they look like
you know what?
me.
Boobs are cool, but you're not 14 anymore. You
That's
don't need
right.
to ogle them, right?
Yeah.
Like,
You're right.
grow up.
You're right.
Once you see the other part, then you can start getting thirsty.
It's all
But
about,
calm
grabbing your
down.
machete and hopping on the bush.
Well, that's something.
Yeah, right. Well, then, thanks everybody, all you hosers
All
out
you
there, buddy.
hosers.
It's Jimmy the Freak, Destructor Dan, and Werewolf the Movie.
Werewolf at the movies,
Hey,
eh?
yo, hoser, do it right there, eh?
Host diddly doodly doodly.
Hey, make sure you don't flip that.
Be
back
like
bacon
Spanish,
with
be
your,
like
your
and
snow shovel there.
subscribe, and yeah.
Just so you guys can remember, give peace and love to your Avro Arrow, because without it, you wouldn't have your F-22 Raptor.
That is a whole other vein of conversation that
Delta
we
Wing
don't
Airport,
have
just saying.
time for.
Who would have thought this entire conversation, which ended really well in like a love fest, and
Pop
started with Mel
Quiz.
Gibson and racism.
Racism and ended with love of Canada. Okay, sorry, Americans.
Until next time,
I can't
that was
think
Jimmy the Freak.
of
Of a better way to end this. Away we go.